And the market keeps staying, it's on. Oh, way down. What are we doing? Yeah, there was. That's right, that's right, that's right. Well, we never had the old ride, right? Yeah.
No, we saw it.
Yeah.
I was expecting to reject it.
Yep. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The regular village council meeting for the Village of Forest Park will come to order. This is our September 26, 2022 meeting. We begin each meeting with a pledge of allegiance. If you're able, please rise. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, would you like to call the roll?
Commissioner Burns,
Here.
Commissioner Maxim,
Here.
Commissioner Nero,
Here.
Commissioner Vogt.
Here.
Mayor Hoskins.
Here. Commissioners, first we need to approve the minutes from the September 12th Village Council meeting. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you. It's been moved by Commissioner Maxim. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Then seconded by Commissioner Burns. Discussion? There's no discussion, Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Burns,
Aye.
Commissioner Maxim,
Aye.
Commissioner Nero,
Aye.
Commissioner Vogt.
Aye.
Mayor Hoskins.
Aye. Okay, next is approval of the September 12th, 2022 closed session minutes. Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you. It's been moved by Commissioner Maxim. Is there a second?
Nero second.
Thank you. It's been seconded by Commissioner Nero. Discussion? Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Burns,
Aye.
Commissioner Maxim,
Aye.
Commissioner Nero.
Aye.
Commissioner Vogt.
Aye.
Mayor Hoskins.
Yes. Do we have any public comments for tonight?
No, I do not.
Okay, there's no public comment. Under communications, I believe we have a presentation from the chair of our Traffic and Safety Commission. Is the esteemed gentleman here?
Okay, well, they didn't turn the sheet in, so come on up.
It's like freezing the kicker, Jordan.
I am here tonight to let everybody know the experience that I had with the employees at the Park District. I rented the Roost on September 14th, and I told them it was a sentimental event. I went there, every time I went there was a problem with mice. I talked to 6 different people. Nobody did anything, not one thing. So 2 hours before the event, I went to the Roost to talk to the manager. So we walked outside. There was still nothing. Everybody told me, okay, we'll set traps. We'll do this. We'll do that. The day 2 hours before, there was nothing done. So I told him that there were 2 storm sewages, whatever you call them, they're open. And that's probably where the problem is coming from. And I asked him, could he put a temporary top on it until the event was over? And he said, I would get a black box and put it there. So when the time came for the event, there was one black box. There was nothing else around the park. That was it. And my concern is when I took it to the office, I was told there's nothing we can do. Mice don't come out when there's a lot of people. I have been a resident for over 30 years living across the street from that park, and I know how they keep it clean. Okay, if there's a baseball tournament, something would have been done. 4th of July, something would have been done. People playing soccer, something should have been done, or it would have. But for them to tell me and treat me like they did, it was totally wrong. I paid $112 to rent the place. That money goes to revenue for the park. So I'm just letting you all know what really happened, and I did not appreciate it, and I know why it happened, because of the person that I am.
Okay, so under communications, we're gonna have a presentation from the Traffic and Safety Commission.
Hey, while Jordan gets set up, I just want to thank him. This is Jordan Keene. He is the chairman for Traffic and Safety and has been for, I don't know, for a year or so now.
Beginning of the year.
Beginning of the year. And I think this opportunity is great for Jordan to come in and present on behalf of the board. Mike Halfpenny, Kathleen Gerens, and Rich Lieb. A lot of folks don't know the work that goes on, but public complaints that come to the Village of Forest Park for traffic and safety related issues go before Jordan and his team. And so tonight's an opportunity for him really to talk through some of the things that they've been dealing with in the Village of Forest Park, and then really kind of present those to you and to the council. And also provide his recommendations. So I think it's a great opportunity both to recognize the work that they're doing and for us to give an additional voice to those complaints and see and look at the work that they've done. So Jordan, thank you.
Thank you, Ryan, for the kind introduction.
Commissioners, does anyone else want to give a statement before Jordan starts? Never mind. Go ahead, Jordan.
Okay. Well, like Ryan said, he asked me to come and give a short presentation as to what all we've been doing throughout the year. We kind of had taken a hiatus in meeting during COVID, but we've been meeting regularly throughout the course of the year. So we have, I'm just going to run through first the items that have come across that we've recommended no action, some of the completed items, and then some of the ones that are outstanding that we have actions to present to the council. And then the ones, kind of a brief summary, the ones that we're currently considering. And I don't think my mouse is going to work from here. Yeah, perfect. Thank you, Rachel. So to go through these briefly, we have no action recommended for these items. One of them was over near the dog den on 7200 Franklin. The person who brought it to our attention had trouble crossing the street and requested a crosswalk. We found that there was adequate parking on both sides of the street, and I didn't see that one was warranted, and there were crosswalks in the area. 1000 Lathrop is one that is somewhat common. People think traffic is moving too quickly through their street. We didn't see anything specific to this block, given the police reports that we asked. I did want to mention that the police have been very helpful when we request information and reports, and that has helped give credence to some of the claims and also help us understand kind of what we're dealing with in that area. So I want to give a shout out to them. But that with the traffic speeding through the area, that is one item that we're kind of considering as these come up more and more frequently, what can be done more on a broader scale rather than one person says their block is a problem block. Perhaps there are things that maybe could be addressed village-wide, but we don't have a recommendation on that at the moment. Elgin and Jackson, another crosswalk, but the street kind of dead ends there. It's kind of an odd request. Troost and Harvard. The signage there, we reviewed that and looks like the stop sign is there and well marked. And then the 5-way intersection at Des Plaines, Brown and Franklin. I think some people find it, at least the person who brought it to our attention found it a little awkward. And while we agree it is awkward, it's a 5-way intersection. There were no traffic incidents that kind of warranted further consideration there. See, we have one item that we recommended over near Betsy Ross. There were no school zone signs. It is painted on the asphalt, but there were no signs posted. Sal was at the meeting that came to our attention and very quickly got that taken care of. So I drove by the other day and saw that they have 2 school zone signs posted. So I appreciate that assistance. Go ahead and move to the next. Oh, yes. Circle and Lemur. Between the 2 parks there, the dog park. So this gets into the ones where we have some recommendations for the council. Between the dog park and Veterans Park, there are no crosswalks. Going north-south, there are crosswalks, and I don't know if you can see in the picture there, but our recommendation is on the north side of that intersection to place an east-west crosswalk with proper cutouts. There was some discussion as to when that would happen. I think there's a variety of actions being taken by the village regarding ADA compliance and things. And at whatever time it would fit into that would be kind of our recommendation. Go ahead and move to the next one. Madison Elgin. So this one has an accompanying longer report with it. I'll let you all review that at your own time. But essentially the traffic headed eastbound to Harlem backs up across a crosswalk in front of Fat Duck. And with the traffic backed up, people will try to jump in the median to make it to the left turn lane at the light there at Madison and Harlem. When they cross that crosswalk, the pedestrians have a blind sight line to the cars coming down the median where there should not be vehicles. And also the vehicles who are jumping don't see the people coming across. So we gave 4 options here. And our concept is to tackle them perhaps in order as needed. So they kind of escalate in cost and intrusiveness to the area. I think first, there's some feedback that the lights were not working at the crosswalk. So that's an easy slam dunk to make sure that that's, and for any of them there. The next option 2, which I think is probably our primary focus here, is in the median there to place one of these breakaway signs that say yield to pedestrians and crosswalk. We did take into consideration that emergency vehicles may indeed use the median there, but according to the literature that accompanied one of the signs, it will accommodate a vehicle traveling over it, such as a fire truck or something, I think would be okay there. But if a regular like sedan or something were to go to it, they would hit it. It wouldn't destroy it, but I think it would be a deterrent to vehicles entering into the median at that point. Then option 3, we kind of get into changing some of the parking at that area to create a right turn lane at that intersection of Madison and Harlem, and then also potentially moving the crosswalk west. So that was one that got a lot of attention. We had traffic report data to back that up, and we felt that this one deserved a fair amount of our consideration. The next one. The traffic flow from Starbucks right near that intersection. People will exit the Starbucks and they'll come through the alley across the back and they'll come back out onto Marengo. And as you exit that alley, it's kind of a blind sight line. I put a few pictures in here. Our recommendation is there to add some signs informing people that it's a blind alley and perhaps some mirrors for both pedestrians and for vehicles. This last one, okay, there's 2 more. Lathrop and Brown, as you can see in the picture here, cars trying to turn northbound on Lathrop often sit into the crosswalk there and making it difficult for pedestrians to come across north or south through that intersection. We noticed there's the Montessori school that has yellow curb in front of it. And we believe, at least as a first pass, cars are perhaps parking in that yellow curb where the yellow paint has faded. So if we repaint that curb there, that may provide a better sight line and less need for cars to creep into the intersection and block the crosswalk. Then the last one with a recommended action. Given the recent events on Madison, there was one pedestrian struck, I think, a Showers employee, and just a general tone of, it's a little bit dangerous to cross the street. I know when I go there with my family, we make sure we have all the kids like both in hand and everything. We wanted to revisit the crosswalks and see what we could do to perhaps improve safety throughout there. I think this is going to be an ongoing item for our consideration, but right now, one of our recommendations is to take that recommendation at Madison and Elgin with the breakaway yield to pedestrian sign and put that on all the crosswalks that have medians. So we're not interrupting flow of traffic, but we are providing more signage and a physical barrier for cars that are approaching those crosswalks to get some better signage there. And then I think with that, we just have 3 pending issues on our plate right now that we're going to be considering in the next months. But I think with that, it catches us up to where we are year to date. So we've had several come across our plate, a handful, no action recommended, and then you have the ones here for your consideration. Any questions?
Any questions for Jordan?
No, I just want to say that was very informative. Thank you for putting that together. It's great.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll second that. Just real quick. So appreciate the presentation. I think, the recommendations were well thought out. None of them are heavy. Most of them are not of heavy lift and fairly easy. I think it's incumbent upon us as elected officials to get with department heads and see systematically or from a priority standpoint how to go about tackling them. Yeah, painting a curb, probably not that big of a deal, and checking batteries and street signs is something that can be done fairly easily. And so I appreciate the work. I would ask if there's no objection, I'd like to get the presentation posted somewhere, either on our website, underneath traffic and safety, if that's possible. Okay. On the under the envelope of the agenda, is there a way to pull it out and get the standalone presentation? Yeah, I just want to, okay, that's fine. And then also there are 3 open seats, I think currently for traffic and safety. And I think we got 1 application in and that's pending. I don't know if that's looked at for Burhan, right?
I believe he submitted one.
Okay, great. So, hey, if you want to get involved, there's a good opportunity. Wake up.
I have a question or a comment.
Go ahead, Joe.
I like the idea of putting those breakaway stop signs or crosswalk signs in the median. It seems like during rush hour traffic, vehicles are using that middle lane as a traffic lane. And if they're coming down the lane, you're running the same thing you're running into eastbound Madison at Elgin. So if you need a vote to put those in there, I'll be happy to vote for it.
Yeah, there's this issue, right, of likelihood and probability, right? And those issues in the downtown business district have a high likelihood and a high probability. So we don't want to really wait. If that's on your brain, wait until something happens, right? High traffic incidents, there's high potential there. So we want to attack the high potential issues.
Jordan, great report tonight. Commissioners, if you want to follow up and give staff some direction, that's totally appropriate. But Jordan, thank you. Okay, under department reports, we had a fire department report and a police department report. think each of the commissioners has received those and hopefully had a chance to review those. And now we are at bills by resolution.
Sorry, Mary, could I just comment on the report real quick?
Sure.
I just wanted to recognize the police department's report today. There was a really nice thank you note in there from a resident who took the time to share their observation of some officers dealing with an issue. And they mentioned how they exhibited patience, professionalism, and successfully de-escalated the situation. And I just wanted to point it out, not because it's just a nice note, but I have also myself witnessed that behavior from the members of our police department. And it's just worth noting that professionalism, patience, and how successfully they do de-escalate a lot of situations. So I just wanted to give them a little shout out for that and thank the resident for sending them a note.
All right. Madam Clerk.
The resolution for the bills. Be it resolved by the Council of the Village of Forest Park, Cook County, Illinois, that we dispense with the reading of the individual bills, inasmuch as each department head has approved and signed bills and the following aggregate amount for their respective departments. Refunds and allocations, $2,951.82. Public Affairs, $25,798.18. Police Department, $4,341.57. Community Center, $11,049.18. Council and Finance Clerk's Office, $14,075.70. Council and Finance Fire Department, $24,918.47. Department of Health and Safety, $17,268. Street Department, $20,421.19. Public Property, $33,095.65. Federal Customs, $9,178. TIF, $14,758.36. VIP, $18,303.39. Water Department, $201,947.64 for a total of $398,107.15.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Commissioners, is there a resolution, a motion to adopt the resolution on the bills?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you. It's been moved by Commissioner Burns. Is there a second?
I'll second.
It's been seconded by Commissioner Maxam. Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Burns,
Aye.
Commissioner Maxim,
Aye.
Commissioner Nero, Commissioner Vogt,
Aye.
Mayor Hoskins.
Aye.
This is resolution R-88-22.
Okay, Commissioners, we are at new business. The first item under new business is a motion to adopt an ordinance authorizing approval of a joint purchasing requisition for the purchase of three 2023 Ford Explorer police vehicles for the police department. Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you. It's been moved by Commissioner Vogt. Is there a second?
Nero, second.
It's been seconded by Commissioner Nero. Discussion?
I wanted to discuss, I know Moses had mentioned that we're sort of aiming to potentially use ARPA funds to purchase these three vehicles. And I want to make sure that we're doing whatever we can to make sure that our police have, the vehicles and items that they need. But I'm a little hesitant to approve the purchase of something when we haven't discussed the ARPA funds and their distribution. And I know that these three weren't technically in the budget for the fiscal year. So I'm kind of curious if we want to talk about that plan or if this is.
So what I'll do is I'll add some commentary and, after the commentary, if you've got questions, let us know. Chief's here, obviously. So yes, before the meeting, Commissioner Vogt and I talked about some questions that she had, mainly how we were gonna pay for these three police vehicles. So in the memo that I had included in the packet, I noted that police vehicles are ARPA eligible. There are some things, so such as, our recent investments in our public works department vac truck and street sweeper. Those are not ARPA eligible. In the past, we've used seizure funds, DUI funds, and those funds are down right now. They're not able to make a purchase for a police vehicle. Last year, we ordered 2 squad cars. We just took delivery of one today, actually, and that was through the Police Replacement Vehicle Fund. And there are not enough funds to utilize for these 3 purchases. So right now, without using general funds or the other funds that I had mentioned, the fallback is ARPA, as it's an eligible expense. I let Commissioner Vogt know that, utilizing our grant consultant, we will look at other options and other opportunities to fund these police vehicles. But aside from general or the ones that we've traditionally used, they're not available. So the police replacement fund that we used for the vehicles that we ordered last year, that fund is not does not have enough money in it to cover these 3 vehicles. So we did talk about ARPA. We did talk about the fact that, we did present an ARPA quote budget with a number of items on there for purchase for this fiscal year and the next 2. She is correct. We have not, as a council, finalized that. So we need to make sure, on one hand, that we don't overextend ourselves on ARPA purchases. On the other hand, we will look for alternate sources to fund these, because the traditional ones, they are spent. The other thing I'm a little hesitant too on, because I mentioned the public works vehicles, the vehicle tax that is instituted for these vehicles, that's kind of got like a rolling, tentatively $500,000 every 5 years. So we know that the public works investments were big ticket items. So because we can have ARPA to fall back on, we're not taxing that fund, even though it's 500,000 every 5 years. It's not a lot of money, especially when you're buying sewer equipment that's hundreds of thousands of dollars. So you did ask the question, can we cancel these? We can. The chief, I talked to the chief. There's not going to be a penalty to cancel. The state will be able to reallocate these orders right away if we cancel, because it's a state purchase. So that's everything I know. You're welcome to discuss it more if you got questions. Obviously, we're here.
What's the lead time?
I think that's unknown. I mean,
Thank you.
Is there any further discussion?
Just one last question. So just in the interest of our share of the ARPA funds are limited. And, some of the webinars that I've sat in on that talk about ensuring proper equitable distribution of those funds, they highly recommended being very smart about how you spend those funds and to not spend it on items that you can purchase with other sources. Like it's highly likely that some grant opportunities could present themselves for police vehicles for the fiscal year 23. So if we approve this today, not knowing when we'll get them, and we want to make sure you're in line so that you get the cars as soon as possible, can we sort of get a guarantee that we will be exploring other funding options over that, amount of time and before we have our ARPA discussions? will we look into some grant opportunities or other?
Yeah, we're happy to look into that. And we'll let you know. I mean, we'll you know, in the event that there isn't anything available, we'll let you know. You know, and then I'll just ask again, you know, you talked about the different uses of ARPA. In that initial plan, which is not in stone yet, you know, there's a variety of different themes in there. It's not, you know, heavily on the police or heavily on fire, et cetera. There's capital improvements, and, you know, we talked about a mental health assistance component. So, you know, any feedback that, you know, you would like to direct staff to look into different options, I'd be, you know, happy to look into. But, you know, obviously any other grants that we could receive will extend our ARPA dollars.
Thanks.
I have a question. So we could actually order these vehicles and put in a purchase order. And when they're being delivered, that's when we pay, right? So that'd be 6, 8 months down the road. So we don't have to pay now. So we still have, so what we're voting on is to purchase the vehicles. How, where the money comes from, we could figure that out 2 to 3 months or 4 months down the road, correct? Whether it's ARPA funds or it,
I understand.
or grant money. Okay.
But then that begs the question of being fiscally responsible. And if for some reason they become available tomorrow, we haven't discussed ARPA fund distribution. And we haven't explored other opportunities at that point.
I think what we're talking about is the purchase of vehicles. Okay. Whenever we put money forward for vehicles, it comes out of the general fund or a grant or monies that we received from police departments that they have the grant money and things like that or through police grants. I know we're trying to replace some old vehicles there, and sometimes it looks more like safety issues for some of the vehicles we have, other than where we're going to get the money from. If the money is there from ARPA, and we have to use the money from ARPA, I would say go ahead and do it. I don't see any cars being delivered to the Village of Forest Park tomorrow. I would think that they're building these vehicles as they're getting the orders. So if we're going through the state grant, I think, like the chief said, it might be 6 to 8 months before we get a delivery on that. And I think we should okay the purchase today. That's my opinion.
Mayor.
Commissioner Nero.
Just really quickly, it's unusual times right now. The auto industry right now, it's not normal. And so long lead times is a common thing right now. I think under normal circumstances, I agree with you, right? We know when we're going to spec delivery and we kind of figure out how we're going to pay for things and we make an order. Now we have to be a little bit, you kind of got to look out there a little bit, 6, 8 months, a year, right? We've done it with Public Works for the last 2 years, purchasing equipment. So you just kind of fall victim to what's happening in the automotive industry and with logistics and getting the parts and getting these vehicles built. And so we have to deal with that as a council, as a village, and we have to kind of look forward. If this is the equipment we need, we're in a different situation now. So, you know, from that standpoint, yeah, I'm with you, Joe. I think we need to kind of look forward, look ahead, and knowing that, you know, it's not going to be tomorrow. It's going to give us some time to kind of figure out where the funds are coming from, and make a decision tonight to at least move forward with it, and then work hard to figure out where the funding is going to come from.
Sure. The last thing I'll say is I completely understand supply chain issues and safety issues, and I have no problem with trying to secure these vehicles for our department. I was just hoping to get some insights from, I know this council in the past has voted against things because we didn't have the money and we hadn't necessarily budgeted for them. So I just wanted to make sure that we're prepared to explore not only additional possible sources of funding, but understand that these aren't in our budget and that we continue to dedicate ARPA funds to things without yet having that budget meeting and agreeing on that distribution.
Commissioner Maxim.
I agree. We should have already sat down and talked about the ARPA, quote unquote budget, so I would urge, Moses, to set up a meeting so the council can do that. I think we do need to sit down as a group and talk about ARPA, and how that money should be allocated. At this point, because of the, supply chain issues and the safety, and because I believe strongly in our police department and what they're doing, and in getting them what they need to do their jobs. I mean, safety is one of the most important things in this town. So I would agree with Ryan and Joe that I think we need to move on this tonight. Maybe, a grant will come up, and if not, then we use the ARPA funds, but I don't think it's something we should wait on, given the, long time it's taking right now for cars to be manufactured and built.
Okay, commissioners, everyone's points are certainly well taken. Everyone's had time to, articulate their views on this. At this point, Madam Clerk, I want you to take the vote.
Commissioner Burns,
Aye.
Commissioner Maxim,
Aye.
Commissioner Nero.
Aye.
Commissioner Vogt.
Aye.
Mayor Hoskins.
Yes.
This is ordinance O-37-22.
Okay, commissioners, next item is a motion to adopt a resolution authorizing the award for the 15th Street Sewer Separation Project to Neary Construction. Is there a motion?
Nero will make that motion.
Thank you. It's been moved by Commissioner Nero. Is there a second?
I'll second.
And seconded by Commissioner Vogt. Discussion? There's no discussion. Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Burns.
Aye.
Commissioner Maxim,
Aye.
Commissioner Nero.
Aye.
Commissioner Vogt.
Aye.
Mayor Hoskins.
Yes.
This is resolution R-89-22.
Okay, commissioners, next item is a motion directing the Forest Park Board of Fire and Police Commissioners to promote the next eligible police lieutenant and the next eligible police sergeant, and to offer employment to the next eligible probationary police officer upon the lieutenant's retirement. Is there a motion?
Nero make that motion.
Thank you. It's been moved by Commissioner Nero. Is there a second?
No second.
And seconded by Commissioner Burns. Discussion? There's no discussion. Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Burns,
Aye.
Commissioner Maxim,
Aye.
Commissioner Nero.
Aye.
Commissioner Vogt.
Aye.
Mayor Hoskins.
Aye. Commissioners, next item is approval of the 2023 Village Council meeting schedule. Is there a motion?
Nero will make that motion.
Thank you. It's been moved by Commissioner Nero. Is there a second?
I'll
I'll s-
second.
And seconded by Commissioner Vogt. Discussion. Okay, there's no discussion. Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Burns,
Aye.
Commissioner Maxim.
Aye.
Commissioner Nero.
Aye.
Commissioner Vogt.
Aye.
Mayor Hoskins.
Aye. Okay, commissioners, the next item is a motion to approve or ratify execution of the November and December senior trip contracts. Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you. It's been moved by Commissioner Burns. Is there a second?
I'll second.
It's been seconded by Commissioner Maxim. Discussion? There's no discussion, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Burns,
Aye.
Commissioner Maxim,
Aye.
Commissioner Nero. Commissioner Vogt.
Aye.
Mayor Hoskins.
Aye. Commissioners, next item is a motion to ratify the issuance of a raffle license for the Anthony Ambrose Foundation. Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you. It's been moved by Commissioner Burns. Is there a second?
I'll second.
It's been seconded by Commissioner Maxim. Discussion? There's no discussion, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Burns,
Aye.
Commissioner Maxim,
Aye.
Commissioner Nero. Commissioner Vogt.
Aye.
Mayor Hoskins.
Aye. Commissioners, next item is approval of an entertainment license application for October and November for Jimmy's Place located at 7411 Madison Street. Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you. It's been moved by Commissioner Maxim. Is there a second?
Nero second.
It's been seconded by Commissioner Nero. Discussion? Okay, there's no discussion. Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Burns,
Aye.
Commissioner Maxim,
Aye.
Commissioner Nero,
Aye.
Commissioner Vogt.
Aye.
Mayor Hoskins.
Yes. All right, Commissioners, the last item under new business is a motion to approve a request from the Forest Park Parent Teacher Organization for the use of the Grove on October 14th. Is there a motion?
I'll make the
I'll make
motion.
Wow, that was really close. Let's call it a tie between Commissioner Vogt and Commissioner Maxim. Okay, Commissioner Nero has enthusiastically and with much certainty has seconded that motion. There's a tie between. Okay, any discussion on the parent-teacher organization request? Commissioner Maxim.
Just, the PTO is great. I have a kid, in District 91, my youngest. And the PTO does a lot of fantastic things. So just a shout out to them.
Okay, if there's no further discussion, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Burns,
Aye.
Commissioner Maxim,
Aye.
Commissioner Nero, Commissioner Vogt.
Aye.
Mayor Hoskins.
Yes. We are at Administrator's Report. Moses?
I wanted to go back and touch on the project that the Village Council approved this evening, the 15th Street sewer separation project. In the memo, it kind of gives a good overview on the history of that project, especially with regards to costs. So the costs in the contract that was approved tonight is a lot higher, maybe about 40, 50,000, whatever it was, than what was approved in May. Those costs are not going down. So what that says is as we move forward in the future with all of our different sources of revenue that we can use for capital projects, our dollars are not going to go as far. So, the council tonight decided to move forward with the project. The cost will not be any cheaper next year, especially in light of the economic climate. And as I indicated in the memo, it's a priority project to bring flood relief to our village. So, the village will continue to file applications for grant funds, which is what's being used for that project to continue that sewer extension. But whether it's sewers, whether it's roads, and whether it's lead water services, which, monies are being highly competitive and highly sought after, our dollars are just not going to go as far. So that will then shift the burden locally, unfortunately, on making up those project costs. Switching gears a little bit, village engineer, along with myself and Sal Stella had a pre-con meeting last week with regards to our alley project. 2 alleys are going to be done in this fall. One is just south of Madison Street. Businesses will be affected, but the engineer has done a really good job communicating with the affected businesses on the closure of that short alley. And then one alley will be done in a residential area. Notices will be going out on how vehicles and parking on the street will be accommodated during this time. So that information will be hand delivered or emailed or personally delivered to each of those houses with regards to the alley project that will commence right away. 15th Street project that was approved tonight, that should be done before Thanksgiving. So we've got a few big projects going on that they should be wrapped up before the Thanksgiving holiday. And as I said, with lead water services, we're hearing different things about our grant application for funding to fund the replacement of those lead water services. That's still up in the air. We're trying to tee up 2 major water main projects for next year, in addition to lead water services that are adjacent to those. And until we have some sort of idea of what, if any, state funding will be available, that will set those projects and those timelines in motion. So those are still to be continued. So a lot of, as we're seeing, a lot has to do with how we can be funded externally to take care of these much needed infrastructure projects.
Thank you, Moses. Commissioner Burns.
Just want to comment a little bit on a meeting we attended this morning. I think it was a very good meeting with the 8th District State Representative LaShawn Ford. I think we had department heads as far as the chief of the police department, Ken Gross, and the chief of the fire department, Phil Chapetta, did an excellent job in explaining their situations down there with some of the areas that they're dealing with. And I think that we might be getting a look at some more funding in some areas. And thanks to those two fellows that did a great job in presenting their issues. I think it didn't fall on deaf ears. So congratulations. And like I said, it was a very informative meeting. I got a lot out of it, and I got more understanding of what this bill is to with bonding issues. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Burns. Commissioner Maxim.
Yes. To follow up a little bit on what I talked about in my commissioner's report last time, which was the issue of chickens. So again, a pretty substantial group of residents came to me and to my department to ask about allowing chickens in backyards. So to kind of gauge how the public feels about it, we're going to be hosting a town hall, which will be open to the public to discuss the issue. The original date was October 4th, but because of a conflict, we're changing it to October 18th. It will be 7 p.m. here at Village Hall. Director Steve Glinke and I will present fairly extensively on code from a number of nearby towns that allow a limited number of chickens, no roosters allowed. And there will be time for public questions and comments, so please come and share your thoughts. Want to get as much input as possible. My second thing tonight, earlier this month, I attended the second meeting of the steering committee for the Des Plaines River Trail feasibility study, which is investigating options for a walking or biking trail that would connect or sort of fill this 2.5 mile gap between the Des Plaines River Trail from the CTA Forest Park Blue Line Station, Illinois Prairie Path to the Salt Creek Trail. So it affects Forest Park, Maywood, Broadview, North Riverside. The feasibility study is being run by the Active Transportation Alliance and Civil Tech Engineering, and they're looking for feedback still from residents or anybody about how they use this path or might use different variations or iterations of a more fully developed and connected path. And Administrator Amade said he's going to include in the newsletter this week a link to this survey so people can go and fill that out and share their input, which would be great. And lastly, tomorrow night, Forest Park Arts Alliance, I'm a member, is hosting a tellers night with professional storytellers at Exit Strategy at 6:30. So I think that's going to be a really neat event. So if you're free, please come out and enjoy that. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Maxim. Commissioner Nero.
Real quick, just another shout out to Jordan Keene for the presentation tonight. Good recommendations, and appreciate the effort that you and your team had put in. So thank you for that. And then also Moses and Sal, just on the when we get into the late season here into the fourth quarter, anytime we're going to be doing mill and fill or resurfacing, just be cognizant of with plowing and snowfall, when we're going to be doing that resurfacing, try to get it in before the snowfall. I know it wasn't too long ago we ran into an issue. We got sewer caps raised up, and takes a toll on our plowing equipment, which by the way is fairly new right now, so or should be anyway. So just something to be concerned about. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Nero and Commissioner Vogt.
I just want to echo Commissioner Burns and thank Representative LaShawn Ford and his Chief of Staff, Stephanie Spalding, for the discussion today about the Public Safety and Violence Protection Task Force that he's co-chair of. I found it to be very candid and informative. And it was a really great opportunity for our police and fire departments to voice their concerns, share their experiences, and discuss the Safety Act. A big thank you to Chiefs Gross and Chapetta for preparing a clear picture of the challenges your departments face and for sharing with Representative Ford your suggestions for ways to address those challenges. Moving forward, I hope we continue to lobby for the resources we need, and form some partnerships and collaborate with other municipalities and independent organizations in the name of improving public safety and violence prevention. I'm encouraged by our discussion this morning, and I look forward to updates on the action items we talked about. And then a couple weeks ago, I attended the Illinois Municipal League Conference from September 15th to 17th. It was great to meet and chat with fellow elected officials from all over Illinois, and that was also a very informative event. I attended several panel discussions over the 3-day conference. Some of those included talking about the role of the code official, municipal tune-up, covering compliance issues, administrative regulatory matters. And I found a discussion on making equity stick and how we can institutionalize social equity to be very informative. And another great discussion was about ethics requirements in local government. So they had a ton of great topics, and my only complaint is several were scheduled all at the same time, so I could only pick one. But overall, it was fun, and I really enjoyed being able to attend that program. And then finally, we had our cleanup day. After 3 cancellations due to rain, this past Saturday was perfect. No rain in sight. We had a wonderful group of volunteers meet up on Saturday, and I thank them all for sharing their morning with us. A couple of our youngest volunteers told me about some of the wacky things they found, including a tennis ball and chicken nuggets and french fries. And one little boy admitted that he was only in it for the ice cream. So we should thank Connie Brown and Brown Cow for donating ice cream to get everybody out and helping on Saturday morning. I also want to thank Karen Deluski for hosting us at the community center, and Director Sal Stella and Public Works employee Jim Becker for their hard work. Public Works has been preparing for this event for months now because we've canceled so many. And they gathered supplies for the volunteers and did a big sweep at the end to collect the trash bags. And then thanks to Commissioner Maxham and the Community Engagement Manager, Alicia Hammond. A big thanks to Alicia for joining us on Cleanup Day and helping to promote the event. And I look forward to more partnerships with the library. And then thanks to the Park District for trying to help us 3 different times. Though they were busy this weekend, I'm glad that they had a nice weekend for all of their events they had planned. And then lastly, the thanks to the Recreation Board for their work on the event. We had Board Chair Amy Binns-Calvi, along with members Bob Dorniker and Brittany Tamul as their zone captains. And we want to thank them for all the work they do for the village. And our next cleanup day will be May 2023, I think.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Vogt. Since we have raised the topic of equity a couple of times tonight, on this past Saturday, I had the opportunity to attend the Oak Park River Forest Community Foundation's unveiling of their Community Voices report. Now, although the name of the organization, right, Oak Park River Forest, suggests that it doesn't really include Forest Park or Proviso, they actually do include Forest Park and Proviso in their sphere of donations and whatnot. And what they did is they looked at the wider community, Oak Park, River Forest, Maywood, Broadview, Bellwood, Forest Park, as well as the Austin community. And they compared outcomes and discussed several topics, including, the wealth gap, employment opportunities, home ownership, availability of green space. It was a really wide-ranging discussion. They had initially scheduled to have the same presentation done in Maywood. However, it was canceled. It was going to be at Proviso East. The executive director, Tony Martinez, has agreed to, work with us and hold a similar presentation here in Forest Park. So we'll get that set up, and I'll let you all know the dates. I think you would find it fascinating. This is something that I think we could work with District 91 to promote. I think it would be of interest to the families, the teachers, all the stakeholders, as well as our friends in the business community. I want to echo that the Village Cleanup Day was, I think, very successful. It was nice to see volunteers out. And of course, St. Bernardines, I want to give them recognition for holding a really nice mass to celebrate first responders. Some of the commissioners could attend. We probably could have done a better job of getting the word out, but Chief Gross was on hand to represent the police department. And Father Stan acknowledged that most of our first responders were actually out working, doing their jobs, keeping Forest Park safe. But it was really nice of that faith community to recognize the first responders, fire as well as police. So that will conclude my report for tonight. So the chair will entertain a motion to adjourn into closed session pursuant to 5 ILCS 120/2C2 to discuss collective bargaining matters. Is there a motion? Thank you. It's been moved by Commissioner Nero. Is there a second?
I'll second.
It's been seconded by Commissioner Burns. Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Burns,
Aye.
Commissioner Maxim,
Aye.
Commissioner Nero, Commissioner Vogt, Mayor Hoskins.
Yes, we will adjourn into closed session. We will not return to open session tonight. Thank you.